This is the NSU Basketball Coaches Show with head coaches of the RiverHawks, Jay Havens and Keith Ferguson. The show is hosted by Orry the Voice Phillips. The NSU Basketball Show is presented by the NSU Alumni Association. Joining the voice alongside is myself, Sean Solo, and William Captain Morgan of the RiverHawks SportsNest podcast. The show is recorded live at 6 p.m. on Mondays at Emery's Grill in downtown Tahlequah. The show was aired on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. on Lakes Country 102.1. The video portion of the show will be posted on the Rogue Radio Network YouTube channel Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. Now, on to the show.
Recording from Emery's Grill in downtown Tahlequah, this is the NSU Basketball Coaches Show, presented by the NSU Alumni Association. I'm Orry Phillips, the voice of the RiverHawks, and I am joined by the RiverHawks SportsNest, consisting of DJ Sean Solo and Captain William Morgan. Alongside us are the head coaches of NSU Basketball, Jay Havens for the men, and Keith Ferguson for the women. Before we get to our conversation, we'd like to extend a big thank you to the program's presenting sponsor, the NSU Alumni Association. Membership in the NSU Alumni Association is the most visible way to show your Northeastern pride. Members enjoy exclusive perks and money-saving benefits, and also support the Alumni Association's outreach efforts. Learn more about membership at nsualumni.com. Both NSU basketball teams are 13 games into their seasons. The NSU women hit the 13-game mark with a 10-3 record, 2 wins across 4 MIAA games. The 10-3 record is their best 13-game start in over a decade. NSU men are 8-5, 1-3 in MIAA play, 8 wins across 11 contests in Tahlequah's NSU Events Center. Most recently, NSU women took a 67-59 defeat to Pittsburgh State Saturday at the Nest. NSU men, they played in 2 straight overtime games, most recently 98-95 final defeat to Pitt last weekend. We'll open with a bit of a state of the season for both coaches. Give me your general assessment of what you've seen so far as we close in on the halfway point. We'll start with Coach Havens.
Well, we're a work in progress. Obviously, we've had some bright spots, and we're learning. We're getting better as we go. Hopefully, we're gonna be there in games. We have the ability to score. We've got to get more consistent on the defensive end, but we've shown an ability to spread the ball around. We've got some offensive weapons. We can score inside. We've got perimeter shooting. We've got some athleticism. Just trying to put it together, and we just need to keep learning, and I think we're going to be in a lot of close games, so close game execution down the stretch is going to be key, and you need to look no further than our last 2 games, where one game we make the plays and one game we don't, and it really, both games came down to one possession. So I think we're going to be in a lot of those. We just have to be diligent and consistent and continue to get better and learn, and I think this group has a great potential to put it together and make a run over the next couple months.
All right, Coach Ferg.
He's so much nicer. I'm sitting here.
We determined this from last year.
The guy
too.
that's 10-3.
And if you would have said at the beginning of the year, like, hey, you're going to go into the first radio show and you're 10-3, my wife was like, yeah, you'll take that. And she's right. I would have taken that in a second. But we're a lot the same way. We've got one senior playing a lot of minutes. We're playing a lot of freshmen and sophomores. I really feel like 2 plays go the other way in our last 2 home games, and then it's a different outcome, and we're sitting here in a different situation in league play, So the frustrating part with our group right now is we shot it really well earlier in the year, didn't guard as well. Now we're guarding better, but we're not shooting it as well. We've just got to have a higher sense of urgency as we're playing. I don't think they understand that how valuable every play and every possession is right now, and it's showing, because then all of a sudden, you have an 11-point lead against Pitt at home. You don't make a couple plays, all of a sudden we come out empty. They hit 2 threes, and bang, now we're in a dogfight again. They've got momentum, and then they've got some kids that make big time plays that have been there, seniors that have been in the Final Four. So. I like our group. I mean, I do. I like them. I think they're trying to do a lot of things right, but what we're not doing is having that sense of urgency and having we need a stop moment. We need the ball. We need to get a bucket moment. Like, we just don't have that yet. And I think it's kind of, we're trying to figure out who's going to be that kid. But again, we have some pieces, and we have some really good players that are doing some good things. So, I like where we're going. I like where we're at, but it's frustrating because we feel like we've left some on the floor, the last few nights.
This episode, we're going to obviously talk about the Pittsburgh State games, but also want to sum up the season as a whole. Again, 13 games in the rear view, so we're closing on a halfway. With that, we'll now go to the SportsNest DJ Sean Solo initial banger player picks, and this is for the entire season so far. Who you got?
Well, before I say anything, we always like to give each other a little hard time. So, first home conference game that I DJ'd for both teams. We're starting off 0-2. I mean, last year you guys have been asking for me to be there, and then is it my fault? Is it my fault? Is it when 0-2? I mean, come on, guys.
You don't want the some things you don't want to know the truth.
Okay, fair enough.
Let's just keep it quiet.
All right, we'll just move along.
Let's just figure out the.
I'd like to blame the second half on you.
Okay, they're fine.
Things were looking pretty good at halftime.
It was too loud for Braxton. She's getting old. Like the noise is too loud.
Well, here we go. So dropping it on the ones and twos, the banger players for the mid-season is on the women's side, Mackenzie Smith, been shooting the ball 48%, free throws 83%. She's averaging about 14 points a game. She's been in double figures 11 of the 13 games this season. And on the men's side, I've got to give it to our man, Ethan Blackman. 2 double-doubles in the last 2 games versus Missouri Southern and Pitt State. 26 and 10 and 24 and 12 respectively. And then from the charity stripe, these last 2 games, 18 of 21. Incredible performance. And Orry said earlier he's second in the MIAA in rebounds per game. So they're my players for midseason for you.
Yeah, and in a little bit of a teaser, I mentioned obviously off air, as you just said, Blackman's second in the MIAA rebounds per game. The only man ahead of him we're taking on this week in Willenburg and the Central Oklahoma Broncos. More on that a little bit later. But want to recap a little bit Pittsburgh State. Going to you, Coach Havens. Seen a lot of great guard-heavy teams this season. That's the MIAA. They put points on the board. Everybody in this league can score. Pittsburgh State, they're one of them, and I think they may be the best 1-2 punch we've seen so far in the backcourt with English and Rogers. English, the point guard, very physical with the drive, but he's got one of the best rangy shooters to pass to in Rogers. They're not leagues better, though, than any other backcourt that we will see later on down the line. Where do you see our strengths and weaknesses midseason defending against these types of athletic, physical teams?
Yeah, I think, success in basketball is dictated by your guard play, and Pitt State was really good at the guard spot, and watching that film back this morning with the team, I think we're all frustrated with knowing, having the head knowledge of what needed to be done, and then seeing on the screen that we didn't get it done and didn't execute when we needed to, especially in high ball screen. We're not getting into the ball and forcing it one way, and because of that, they made us pay in critical situations. And English goes for a career high, and a lot of that. I mean, give him credit; he made the plays, but a lot of that was also us not doing our jobs defensively, and so that's something we really tried to address in both film and on the floor today. And we're going to see that every night, as you mentioned. I mean, there's just really good guard play across the board, and you want to be able to go out and compete, at least at an even level with the guard play. And I think we've got really good guards, so that's a challenge every night is to win that battle, and whether it's scoring, whether it's creating, or whether it's making plays on the defensive end. And I think that's what we've got to get accustomed to and more consistent with, is making those defensive stops when we need to from our guard spots.
Well, this next question kind of goes to both of you guys, and you kind of mentioned it at the beginning of the show. So, when fans are looking at, the box scores, they see the points, the rebounds, assists, all that. When you guys as coaches, look at the game, and especially this midseason point, what's the first thing you check to know if your team is basically playing your brand of basketball?
Is that for
both of them?
Yeah. I think one thing we always pay attention to is your offensive and defensive field goal percentage. That's a really important stat. For us offensively, our assist numbers, that says a lot because of the way we play and the way we try to move the ball and share the ball. If we're putting up good assist numbers per game, sharing the ball well and shooting it well, that's always an indicator. And then rebounding. Rebounding shows up, and not just overall rebounds, but what I like to see, especially the offensive rebounds you're allowing. The other team, how many per game they're getting going into the game. That means a lot to us, and trying to address that and keep them off the glass. And those are extra possessions, and those are winning plays if they're able to get offensive rebounds and get extra possessions.
Right.
We're the same way with rebounds. We've been really focused on that because we've gotten out rebounded by 15. I think the last two, against Southern and Pitt State. We take care of the basketball. We're doing some right things, but if you're not rebounding the basketball, that they're getting extra possessions. A lot of times, offensive rebounds lead to fouls. There's just so many negative things that an offensive rebound leads to. Points, fouls for you guys. I mean, just all of it. So we're in the same boat. We've really tried to pay attention to our plus minus, and are we affecting the game with deflections and some different things that the stat sheet doesn't have. Or are we fumbling the basketball? Are we able to do some stuff? So, and it helps the kids that, maybe aren't big time scorers to be able to, this is how you impact the game for us. Go rebound, go get on the floor, go get a deflection and do some of that. Those usually lead to good things. And, but I'm with Coach Havens on the rebounding, man. And that was a worry we had coming in, and we'd been pretty good on the boards for the most part all year until the last couple, and we've got to clean that up and work harder to go get offensive rebounds.
All right, well, coaches, I'm going to address both of you, and then I got a question for both of you. First of all, it's been exciting to see the product that's been on the court this year, and sometimes I understand it's not all together at the right time, but it's been cool to see the talent that y'all brought in and the hustle as well. So, but I'm going to ask, this is going to both of you, and I'll start with you, Jay. What's something that your team is doing better now than they're doing the opening week that fans might not immediately notice?
Well, I definitely think we're moving the ball better, and that's always from my seat, that's a sales job. Everybody plays different styles, and when you come in to a new system, we really do emphasize moving the ball and moving the ball quickly early in possessions, and that's not everybody's accustomed to that. So that was a initial speed bump maybe to get that going, but I think we're starting to see the fruits of that. I think we're moving the ball better. That's reflected in our shooting percentage and our assist numbers, and so we just keep trying to emphasize that. I think that's a huge thing for us.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're starting to finally play with a little bit better pace. We're getting the ball up the floor faster. We're not looking over the side to run something or do something like that. Now out of a made shot for them, we're running some stuff, but out of misses, I think we're getting better in transition. And then the other thing, our team's done pretty well all year is shooting free throws. I think we're fourth in the country and at 81%. In that area, we're up there in that top 4, 5, 6 area. So that part's pretty cool. When you have we're getting to the line at a good rate, and we're taking care of it when we get there. Because as you guys watched your teams the last couple of years, that was a very frustrating situation.
Well, and I've watched your team put games away at the free throw line.
Yeah.
I mean, in close games, and you guys go to the line, and it's just an automatic 2, and you're winning.
You feel a lot better.
Absolutely.
Okay, coaches, I got another question for both of you there. So, the team's ahead, behind. Is this team ahead or behind or right where you expected them to be at this 13-game mark?
Would definitely not say ahead. I think that's hard to get to, just because I think we have a really high standard. I always, feel like from my seat that we're a little behind. There's always more we could be doing better. It seems like we should be, further along. But I think that's just being, like a demanding teacher of it. Like you want to microwave it, and sometimes it has to sit in the crock pot a little bit. I don't operate
nice
that
analogy.
way. So,
Good way to put it.
But I think you always want it to come along faster than it does, and your hope is that as they're going along, we're able to have some success as we're learning, and we want to be playing our best down the stretch, and we're not there yet, obviously, but we've got room to improve, and so I think that's our goal every day when we step on the practice floor. We want to have a growth mindset, and we want to get better and just continue to improve and be playing our best at the end of the year when it counts the most.
We're way behind. We have a kid. We have a kid playing 14 minutes
He's so
a game.
modest.
So
modest.
She
So
doesn't know half
humble.
our stuff. She's playing 14 minutes a game. Corey Rainwater doesn't know half our stuff. Now, in her defense, she's only had 7 practices, so she was a nice little semester pickup. So we're way behind. She's killing us.
But it's nice pickup, though. Yes.
I think I'm kind of with Jay. You want it to be Walmart and microwave, but it's not Walmart and microwave. It's a crock pot. and I want it to be Walmart, but that's not realistic ever. And so I never feel like we're where we need to be yet. There's always something that we got to work on. There's always another step we could take and to get better, because somebody else is. So no, I'm not mad about where we're at. I'm not like, well, we're as my daughter would say, we're doomed. But it's again, and again, it's hard too with Corey now. Adding Corey into the mix, we're not going to take as many steps forward as fast as we would like, because she's got to get caught up, and that's months of getting caught up. So and she's doing a great job. I mean, no complaints with it. It's just we're going to be a little slower now.
Great conversation up to this point, and we still got a lot to go. Let's pause briefly. When we come back, we'll discuss the upcoming 3-game road trip for both teams. It's on Lakes Country. Welcome back to the NSU Basketball Coaches Show. We'll continue the conversation, but first we'd like to thank our official radio sponsors for the season. Without their support, this show would not be possible. The NSU Alumni Association, Archer Cleaners, Cherokee County Collision, Chick-fil-A Tahlequah, NSU College of Extended Learning at Riverside Liquor and Whirling Dervish, Rose Rock Coffee, the Shockley Group, Tahlequah Family Vision Clinic, Northeastern State University Relations, and the Wash Barn. Northeastern State hits the road for a 3-game trip against a trio of close proximity opponents. It begins Wednesday night against Central Oklahoma at Hamilton Fieldhouse. It continues at the Claremore Expo Center this Saturday against Rogers State. Ends a week from Friday against Arkansas Fort Smith at the Stubblefield Center. All 3 games are obviously crucial for our positioning advance of the last 6 weeks of the conference schedule. Great level of recent success has been the story of women's basketball against that trio of foes. RiverHawks throttled Fort Smith by a score of 71-49 in Tahlequah back in December. They're 6-2 against in-state MIAA competition in the Ferguson era. The Fort Smith men, they're 13-0 for the first time since the 2017-18 season. That includes a win over NSU and Tahlequah. Meanwhile, we split the season series with UCO a year ago, but we're looking for our first win in Edmond since 2021. We've lost 5 straight to Rogers State. The last 4, though, have occurred by single digits. One of those, actually, a couple of seasons back was an OT in Tahlequah. So first off, for both coaches, we'll start with Havens. General breakdown of the opponents coming up.
Well, two quality opponents, very well coached, very talented. UCO's kind of gone through some injury bug stuff this year, and their big 3 coming into the season has missed a lot of time. However, as they tend to do, they figure it out, and they've had guys step up, and all of a sudden Matthew Willenborg is leading them in scoring, leading them in rebounding, one of the better forwards in our league, and goes from role player to lead dog for them. And they're playing really well right now, and obviously, going on the road is difficult. The good thing is these are up and backs. We're not going to be staying long, but winning on the road is difficult. So UCO presents a challenge. I mean, you're going to have to be ready to guard multiple ball screen actions. They're going to throw different defenses at you. You just have to stay engaged and be ready to execute. Rogers is always tough at home. And they just kind of have a junkyard dog mentality defensively. They beat you up. They're physical. Offensively, they're simple and execute, and they've got weapons, and they do a good job of spreading it around and getting it to the best players. And both teams have been really, really good at home. So going on the road this week is going to be a huge challenge for us. We'll have to be at our best and find a way to make plays to give ourselves a chance to compete and get it done in the end.
We're, everybody's like, well, this is a get-right week for you, and it's like, no, that's not how this works. We don't get-right games in the league. UCO's won 3 or 4 in a row. They're playing better. Obviously new staff, figuring things out. They're playing a lot of different kids. They'll run at you and throw a lot of different stuff at you, and but they're going to play really hard and be really physical. So that's always going to be a challenge. We've been fortunate the last couple of years, but this is a new staff and new group. So there's going to be some adjustments, I'm sure, that they'll make differently. And then Rogers, same thing, kind of like the guys. They haven't had as much success, but they're going to muddy the game up. They're going to get really physical. They're going to rebound hard, and they're going to beat you up. Like, they're just going to physically beat you up for 40 minutes, and that's bothered us, obviously, the last 2 years up there. We haven't been able to handle it. Haven't won up there since we've been here, and all their kids, they're scary too, because all their kids are older. You know, I think when you have seniors, a lot of seniors in this league, it makes things easier for you. And they've got a lot of kids that have been in the league a couple years and played. And you guys know, I mean, there's no secret about it. It's not like they just love us.
No,
I mean, it's not.
They don't.
It's not. There's not a whole lot of
Love
lost
yeah.
on any side. I mean, you know, they got the guy a couple years ago yelling at our girls and saying some stuff, and then, you know, and not like we're a church, you know, choir boys over here either. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of a battle. It's kind of a grind it out and see how it goes. And but both teams are going to beat on each other. You know, we know that's going to happen. For the girls' game, it might be who gets to 55 first. As ugly as that sounds, it could be first to 55 gets the win.
well, and that's talking about that subject in particular with Rogers. The 4 times that we played him in the Ferguson era, no team has made it past 68, so that very well could be the case. Focusing specifically on UCO, I got a question for you, Ferg. Also want to bring something up to you, Coach Havens. This is interesting because you're talking about Willenborg, and we were talking about him earlier today. I think he's averaged about as many points this year as he had minutes per game, and across not only his first year there, but his second. He's been tremendous, and he's, as we mentioned already, the top rebounder in the league. And going to you, Coach Ferg, UCO, big story for them, kind of the rebuild or retooling, so to speak, with Coach Muller. I remember when she was at MacU, because at the time she was at Mid-America Christian, I was at John Brown. Every year, that team was a load. And I think this is probably the first time she's been a head coach at the collegiate level where the team isn't an immediate conference contender, but they're still going to be a team that gives us a lot when we go over there to Hamilton Fieldhouse. They just won their first MIAA game last Saturday. They've won 4 in a row overall. So tell me, brief synopsis, what do you think about the work that Coach Muller's done so far retooling that program in Central Oklahoma?
Well, they've had talent there. You know, we've talked about this a lot. The last few years, they've been talented. It's just getting the talent to play together. And you can see on some boxes that if kids not playing hard, they're not getting to play. And so she's got to install that and get her kids doing that. I think they're starting to. You know, like I said, 4 in a row. You said 4 in a row. They've won, and you know, they're getting better. I mean, they're getting better. I would have rather played them earlier than later. So that's just the way the schedule is. But you know, they're gonna continue to get better. The one thing they're gonna do is play incredibly hard, and really get. They're gonna make you hit some shots because of how they guard. You know, they're not always. They're gonna sag off kids and double you in certain spots and do some different things. And so we're gonna have some kids that have to make some shots that they're not comfortable making or haven't been comfortable making, and they've got to make them. I mean, they're gonna have to score. I think their problem this year, they've struggled at times scoring the basketball. You know, they've just got some kids out there that do the right thing, and you know, we've seen that before here, that do the right thing and play their tail off. They just struggle scoring the basketball. So they're getting better, and you know, it's definitely scary at their place because it's at UCO. You know, I mean, we know what it's like there.
Well, yeah, this one goes to Havens. You kind of had touched on this a little bit, but, you know, yes, we've been talking about all night, the 3-game road stretch. You know, it's not a make or break kind of thing, but what's some of the biggest challenges of this stretch for you and the guys this week?
Well, obviously winning is a difficult thing, and it's more difficult when you go on the road. And statistically speaking, winning in college basketball on the road is, you know, statistically not in your favor. So you've got to be better. You've got to do things better. You've got to execute at a higher level. You know, changing buildings shouldn't mean that much. You know, having an opposing crowd there shouldn't mean that, but in reality it does. So you've just got to be better. You've got to do things better. You got to take care of the ball. You got to execute, and your defense should travel. It shouldn't matter where you line up. You should be able to get in a stance and get in position and do your job and communicate and defend. And I think in order to have success, we're going to have to defend at a high level, and we're going to have to execute and take care of the ball and get good shots and knock them down. But winning on the road is not easy. And I think just understanding that going into it, that there's not going to be a knockout punch. It's going to take 40 minutes of effort, right. and you got to put yourself in a position to win. And then when it's time to close it out, you got to close it out.
All right, so I'm moving on here. Down to this road trip here we've got coming up here. When you're during the game, and it may not be be just during this road trip, but during the game, what are some measurables that you're looking at? Because I know you're getting stats at every media timeout. So you're putting the numbers together. You're looking at seeing how they're playing. You're laying eyes on them. So what are some measurables throughout the game that you go through?
Who makes shots? Let's just keep it. Give the ball to the kid that's like you're trying to
Keep
make
it
this.
simple.
You're trying to make this like some crazy No, who gets shots? Get him the damn ball. Bingo.
I like it.
Yeah, and everybody shoots. If you make it more, you shoot it more.
Yeah,
I mean,
get him the ball.
It's a great theory, and we try to go with that. We do keep points per possession, and we track, for us, ball movement. So we look at did the ball see three sides and did the ball touch paint? And those numbers tell us a lot, and we'll talk about that at halftime. And almost without fail, if we get three sides and a paint touch on a possession, we're at about a 1.3 to 1.5 points per possession, which is really good. Anything over a 1.0 is good. So that's kind of a benchmark. So then we want to, how many possessions did we do it? There was 35 possessions in the half. How many times did we do that? And then so we try to give them that data, and hopefully they take that in and apply it.
Smart basketball
that we
thinker,
want. Yeah.
Smart basketball thinker. See to your pants, guy. You can tell the difference right there.
It is.
Jay's giving you great
This is
stuff.
not new.
And I'm like, huh.
And we did talk about that today. We give them that information at every halftime, and you would think, oh well, gosh, if we're getting 1.4 points per possession when we get three sides and a paint touch, we might ought to try that every time, right? But as it turns out, we don't always do that. So, but we do like to give them that data, just because I think moving the ball and touching paint is going to lead to great shots and a lot of scoring.
When you go over those stats, their eyes glaze over a little bit, or they stay.
I don't know. It may go in one ear, out the other. Like it may just float out into the universe and not land anywhere. But we do track it. I think it's an important stat.
Well, Ferg, okay, so I got to ask you about this team, and excluding yourself, who tends to be the most vocal on the bench this year, on either at home or on the road games? Again, not counting you.
Yeah, no, I think Gabby Tilley does a really good job of being overly vocal and telling people up, down. She does a good job. Gracie Shield Knight, I think, does a pretty good job. I wish Dee would do better. As much as she fouls, she's over there a lot. So I mean, that would be helpful. Bring some value there. She's gonna be mad at me for something. That's okay. I'll tell her. No, I think those two do it really good. And then the other kid that kind of gets lost in the mix a little bit because she was injured. Ashley Carrillo gets really into it and brings some stuff for us. So I think those three are pretty good. But they've been around. Ashley's older. So those three are good. None of them are just bad. Like, we don't have a vacuum over there. We don't have like an energy vacuum or anything like that. So that's what I go with.
One final question, this segment going to William. I will just first say this, though. We knew going in we're going to get the quotables. I think the expectations, as high as they were, have been exceeded tonight with the man on my left. All right, William.
Well, I'll give you another shot here. So what's one non-negotiable thing that your team must do well on the road this week to be successful?
Oh, we have to we have to rebound. Golly, we've got to rebound. It's really cost us, I think. Us not rebounding has been the difference. That's the one thing that's been, everything you've done kind of the same throughout, but we didn't rebound in our three losses, and that's been the biggest key, I think.
How about you, Coach Havens?
Defend and rebound. Defend and rebound. You want to have a chance to win, especially on the road. You got to do those things. That should travel, as we said. There's no, there's not a percentage on it. Getting a stance and do your job.
The password is rebound.
Rebound.
I like it. Up next, we have the Captain's Catch with Captain Morgan. He'll look at a player from both teams. He's got his eye on for this week's games. We'll also get final thoughts from the table. It's next on the NSU Basketball Coaches Show, presented by the NSU Alumni Association. We return to the NSU Basketball Coaches Show, presented by the NSU Alumni Association. We have a few more things to get to. First, a reminder, we will be live on Wednesday from Hamilton Fieldhouse for a 5:30 p.m. tip-off on Lakes Country 102.1 for the NSU women, followed by the NSU men's game. Lake Country 102.1 is the official radio home of NSU Athletics. Coverage starts at 5. Then we go to Claremore on Saturday and start with the women's tip-off at 1:30. Coverage starts at 1. Big games here, and definitely a tough pick for Captain William Morgan. We take to him for his first Captain's Catch pick of the week.
All right, this is the Captain's Catch of the week for the midseason, for coming up this week right here. This is our first one on the Basketball Coaches Show, so our Captain Morgan is looking forward to this year. So Captain's Catch for RiverHawks women this week is Reese Shiree. Now we know that Mackenzie Smith is the engine that drives the offense, but every good ship needs a second sail, and that's where Reese can pick up the rope and heave and grab that loot. Now for the RiverHawks men, I've got Xavier Glenn. Because every good ship needs a steady hand on the wheel, and that's where Xavier sets sail. He sees the horizon and navigates the offense. If he can navigate this ship through these tough waters, we'll be raising the victory flag on the USS RiverHawks. Arr! Those are the Captain's Catch picks.
Well, and one more thing. What do they say about buried treasure? X marks the spot.
Absolutely. Absolutely, shipmate.
Well played.
One final reminder that the most visible way to show your Northeastern pride is through membership with the NSU Alumni Association. Make sure to download the Green and White Network mobile app for alumni and tap the Coaches Show tile. Fill out the form to enter to win a $25 Visa gift card while you receive a generous discount offer for Alumni Association membership just for taking the time to fill it out. We decided over break that it'll be Coach Havens this week that draws our first pick for the gift card. Go ahead, Coach. Weekly drawing taking place as we speak. Will it be Mandy Joe?
Let's see. Oh, don't even look at it. Come on.
And the winner is Amy Etzkorn.
Congratulations, Amy.
Hey, good job, Amy. He looked at me like it was going to read it out.
That's
Tease. Big tease.
got to get the hopes up. But Mandy Joe will live to fight another week on the NSU Basketball Coaches Show for the $25 Visa gift card. Another great show in the books. Final thoughts before this week's rivalry games. We'll start with Sean.
Well, for the women's side, I would just like to see, the 4 quarters put together. Last week started off our last game against Pitt State. Some great shooting, but then those pivotal times in that fourth quarter just kind of dropped off. So I'm really looking to see them put together a whole game. And for the guys, you guys are balling out on Saturday. I want you guys to get better in transition defense and push that ball. So that's what I'm looking forward.
All right, Captain.
Yeah, as far as the women's teams goes, I'd like to see everybody, stay healthy here and get some development, some cohesiveness here together as you've added, rainwater here recently. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you do with that because I know that there's a lot of work that you've got to do. But it's been impressive to see all this so far. I've enjoyed seeing it. And then with you, Coach Havens, I've enjoyed seeing what you brought in from last year. It's a lot of different faces. I love seeing the ball movement and the hustle that they have. So that was one of the first things I noticed this year. And I'm enjoying seeing what you've got your work cut out for you as well. I mean, lots of new faces on both sides.
It's a totally different team.
Yeah,
it's fun to watch.
Yeah, it is. And when I see the players, I'm like, oh wow, they're good. Okay, yeah, you just got to put the pieces together. You know what I mean? Just put the pieces together. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for both y'all.
All right, we'll start with Coach Havens on final thoughts, then go to Ferg.
Well, we just told our team today, big week, big opportunity. We need to be ready to go. This is the time of year when people in a conference race are going to start becoming pretenders or contenders. And I think we'd all like to be contenders, so we got to go find a way to get it done and put ourselves in a situation where we're contending for something as we go down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, kind of covers it for me. I don't have a lot. It's a fun week. I mean, you're going to UCO. You're starting that grind. There's no more non-con games anymore. There's no more any of that stuff. This is when basketball gets really fun. You find out real quick who rises up and who continues to get better and taking care of business, and who breaks down and falls apart. And I think we could be that team that rises up and keeps getting better, but we'll find out. We got another opportunity on Wednesday, and it'll be a lot of fun. And I think our kids are excited to do it and excited to go compete.
This has been the NSU Basketball Coaches Show presented by the NSU Alumni Association. We'll catch you Wednesday night from Hamilton Fieldhouse.